Okay, YouTube, I couldn't get the sound to work on the actual Dazzle capture card at the moment, so I'm just going to be narrating it, and if you can't stand my voice, cut off the volume, but don't spam. Thank you. I'll start off by saying that the game is very visually pleasing, especially on the ground. In UFC Undisputed 2010, the ground game made them look like they had a stick up their ass. So I wasn't quite happy with that. Also, everything in UFC 2010 could be reversed. One thing that I see could be improved, however, would be the fact that all your opponent will ever do is shoot in for a common double leg takedown. Now, there are one of two things you can do. You can either A, punish this at every chance you get, being a back switch on the trigger. However, as soon as your opponent's hands get a hold of you, that's pretty much it. One thing that I thought could be bragged about is the straight punches. In UFC Undisputed 2009, being the only franchise to compete in mixed martial arts gaming with this game, the straight punches, such as the jab and the straight out, as I was saying, they had no power, not very much utility, and in Undisputed 2010, they killed the jab and cross. The fact that EA Sports had already come off their Fight Night franchise, which I played as well, made them have a bit better understanding on what they should be doing for the punches. Those flying knees, one thing I noticed is you hit a guy with one or two good combos, which if they don't block, it's easy to pull off. You can have them TKO'd in like 12 seconds. It's ridiculous how fast guys drop. In reality, I mean, maybe Bobby Lashley would drop that fast to Overreem, but a lot of the guys probably wouldn't. Now, another thing is that I'm using the button configuration called Classic. I played Fight Night ever since, and I just wanted to let him recover to display the ground game. I played Fight Night ever since round 2. Heck, I played Fight Night back when it was Knockout Kings. Knockout Kings 2001, I think. I played Fight Night before it was even Fight Night. And when they invented that total stick control, I could not stand it. They attempted to make something fun and innovative, but it really didn't work out. As if it didn't work out in a game bad enough in which you can only throw 3 types of punches with each hand. Now you have to worry about throwing kicks, you have to worry about throwing punches, you have to worry about hammer fists. And while kicks and punches are separately done by holding I believe one of the, is either left trigger or left bumper, it is still very hard to pull off. Another thing I want to stress is and I'm sorry I keep using UFC 2010 and 9 as an example, but it is the best example. In those games, they had the clock double speeded, so basically every 1 second in real life was 2 seconds in the game. Now, as you see, I get bored these guys drop so fast. But anyway, that's a flaw I could work to see improve. The push kicks are very nice. All the moves that have utility over power, that's one thing I like that they did. They captured that perfectly. The jab can pretty much be chained with anything. You can probably jab a guy 12 times, and in fact, I think I have done it with Mayhem Miller versus what's-his-face. This is an example of a submission. They were true to the core about it not being a button masher, because you'll find out later exactly why you can't button mash, and I believe I show this at the end of the video, what happens when you use up all your stamina on a limb submission, aka a joint lock, or you use all of it up on a chokehold. But anyway, as I was saying, the jabs have a lot of utility. They can be comboed with anything. A lot of the guys, because of the decent amount of power that they balanced, I also like that. They balance the power of the jab to where guys will back up if you combo a couple of them. The push kicks, which was the original thing that led into this. The push kicks are beautiful when done with and there's a nice takedown. Done with the Muay Thai strikers such as Alistair Overreem, the push kick has so much utility. It does everything that it's supposed to do in real life. It makes them drop their head and hands so that you can hit them in the face. It does damage to the body, and it backs them up. It has all the utility in real life captured perfectly. Now, as you see, another thing, in UFC 2010 Undisputed, you cannot knock out guys from a back position. In a couple of them, you cannot even rock them, such as back mount body triangle. In those kind of positions, you can't even rock your opponent. I mean, it's great for cutting up his face, but otherwise, no. This was the other match that was included with the demo. This is Mayhem Miller versus Jake Shields. It is a classic wrestler versus jiu-jitsu match according to the game's specialty. And as you see, as if it wasn't enough that when you play Alistair Overreem, he constantly dives in. When you play a wrestler, you will never meet a time where, from what I've seen, I play probably 50 matches a day of each of these. Another thing I've noticed is, look at this. You end up in more dominant positions from being in a bad position in the clinch. For example, in Muay Thai clinch, you pick him up and do a beautiful slam. Muay Thai clinch up against the cage. Pick him up and do a beautiful slam. But the problem is, it lands you in half guard. Now, if you're on, double underhooks bottom in just a normal, not up against the cage position. If you're on the bottom of double underhooks, you do a judo throw, probably could be noted as Uchimata or Haragoshi, being a judo practitioner and mixed martial artist with the judo base. But back to the point, it ends you up in side control, and I think does a bit more damage to your body and stamina. Meaning that it's actually better for grappling on non-striking grappling if you want to get it to the ground. It's actually better to not be in underhooks. One thing I've not talked about yet is blocking and reversing transitions. Now, these ground fights can be annoying for this reason. Minor transitions cannot be reversed, but they can be blocked. From what I know, major transitions will be reversed into higher positions on top for you. Now, what I've noticed is that when you have these blocking opportunities, you can block them, but it's so obvious when to block. You can block them from standing up. Back in UFC Undisputed 2009-2010, when a jiu-jitsu guy pulled guard on me, the first thing I did was try to get it stood back up. From bottom, they can actually prevent that. Now, see, tapping them out is not that hard if you know what you're doing, but if you're a button masher, you won't like it. I know I've dived around to a couple points. I've used Undisputed 2010 and 2009 as a very common, hop. I think I'm going to do the judo throw here. Oh no, see, he went Greco-Roman on me, so I had to do something there, and I got mad and got after him. Another thing that I have to say is pretty cool, though, is this. That transition is really cool. In jiu-jitsu, it's a basic sweep, but that's the thing I was talking about. They don't move like they have a stick up their ass in this game, meaning that you can really capture the realism, and you appreciate it more if you're a mixed martial artist in real life. This is the triangle choke. One strategy I use is just hold the L stick in one direction. This means you don't lose any stamina, but the instant that the zone hits you, then it'll do it, and the zone will hit you. While your opponent's wasting stamina trying to find the zone, you're just sitting in one spot, not using any stamina, but the zone will actually come to you. The striking aspect is, once again, beautiful. The ground game, see, I like to strike only because the ground game is so overused. However, this will change when the real game comes out. Everyone's going to have their career mode fighters. Everyone in career mode is going to have to ground fight. Because every one of their opponents is. When they have to learn those ground grappling moves, this means that that's all they're going to know. This means that in an online play, there's not going to be any striking. This is one thing I hope would be changed, because while it is more fluent, it is less encouraging. In fact, it is easier to knock a guy out on the ground than it is with a good striker stand-up. That's an example of a takedown that was prevented. He shot in on me and I did that. Here's the judo. Yeah, there we go. As I thought. That's that judo throw. Now, it did not end me up in, what was it? Side control, but there is one that is done from double underhook that I know lands you in side control, a judo throw. It might just be that he attempted to block it or something. I don't know, but I do know that. There's a attempted flying knee, and the flying knees, once again, are very visually pleasing. It's a lot more realistic, too. Because Anderson Silva's flying knee, he's the only one that can do that, and they have guys that you can just make creative fighters with no Muay Thai skills that can do that. I believe this was my example of what happens when you, use all your stamina on a choke. Now, say you think you're moving in, the stamina is not a problem, it's slowly decreasing, and then all of a sudden it zooms right back out. He slams you on your head, and he passes to side control. This is going to make all your uneducated friends go, oh, nah, but it probably will. Now, this is what happens. The arm bar is so visually pleasing. Now, there's an example. It says no attack, meaning, no attack meaning you're screwed. Now, this is what happens, as you've seen, when you actually properly execute a move. I attempted an arm bar, but I'd forgotten I had the button held down in order to do a triangle, so I was like, hell, let's do it. But like I said, this is not a button masher. What I like to do is kind of make it like almost a pattern. Tap, tap, like I double tap it, and then I just tap once. Double tap it, and then tap once. It's hard to explain, but it's how I like to do it. I don't know, what else? We have about a minute left in this video. As you can see, another thing that capture well is the HUD. However, this is not the starting HUD that you normally see. The way to get this HUD is to go as the following. Pause menu, settings, and adjust HUD from dynamic to full. This will give you the full HUD, give you the insight on all of their parts, and thus you will be able to more intelligently strike instead of just relying on the bar that you see. Otherwise, you may be looking at hitting them in the head when their body would drop them. Now, as you see, there's a lot of cheapness going on in the clinch striking up against the cage, and it's pretty easy to, drop them. On top of it being easy to drop them, it is easy to block them. Thanks for watching. This has been MMA Ninjutsu.